What's up, mother truckers? So subscribe to this channel. All you gotta say is, if you're thinking about a career in trucking and you're worried about whatever the recruiter, whatever the company is telling you is a lie, and you're not sure to jump the gun, then watch and subscribe to this information, because we're gonna give you insider interviews from the people that are actually working that job to see if that job is right for you. All right, I'm here to save you time and money, baby. So subscribe. Appreciate it. Let's get ready for this interview. Let's go. What is going on, mother truckers? Welcome to the Theasianmaishow. Today we got a great interview with you. We have Trucker NaeNae on the phone, and she's going to give us some great information today. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much, Alex. I'm so happy to be here.
No, thank you so much. And before we actually get into this, I wanted all these mother truckers out there to know that we had a private call, and you told me something very interesting, that you actually help sponsor new coming truck drivers to get their CDL. Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. So, I think one of the things that often delays people taking action is the financial part of it, right? So,
Right.
I've been in the corporate world for a very long time, and there was a point in my life, even in corporate management, that I was living paycheck to paycheck. So you don't have that extra, funds to come out of your pocket, even if it's a little bit. I mean, you are so budgeted. So when I came through Prime's training school, and I saw, a lot of the people that were coming through were coming from lifestyles that were very different than mine at the time, right? They were really struggling to come up with the money to pay for this, but they wanted to make the change in their life, and I still applaud them to this day. So I did not want that to be a hindrance to anyone else. So I made a video on my channel a long time ago that said, if you want to come to trucking school with Prime, I mean, this is the only one that I'll do it with, and it's not that I am endorsed by Prime, but it's what I know.
Right. I like that.
That I will pay your registration fee, which is $100, and that gets you in the door to get to Prime school, and then they help you with other things, the transportation to get there. But at least it takes that little bit of edge off, and it's paid directly to Prime. So I've committed to doing that, and right now I commit to helping 5 people a year, and that'll grow as I continue to grow, and perhaps get other sponsors that want to do this sort of sponsorship.
I love that. And, I haven't seen a lot of truck drivers in general do things like that. So for all you mother truckers out there, Trucker NaeNae, she actually has a YouTube channel. If you haven't seen her, I'm sure you have, but if just in case you haven't, I'm going to jump over to your channel right now, Trucker NaeNae, just so that they can kind of see what they're looking at. And so you see this nice lady right here, this pretty face right here. She's that one that wants to sponsor and help you out. And right now, not that subscribers are important, but it says you have over 3,900 subscribers, right? So
It is true.
now we need to get that to 4,000. We need to get it to 10,000, because come on, she's helping people get their license and helping them, sponsoring them, getting that registration started. Because sometimes, I know you agree with me on this, you just need something to help you, to get you going. That's the big one at times, right?
I would agree. You just need someone to hold your hand, someone to motivate you, inspire you, or somebody that just financially, give you some aid. And that's what I want to do. All of those, but primarily I'll help with the money portion. I will do that for you.
No, that's great. That's great. So definitely, I appreciate you for that. So I'm going to have your video going in the background, just so that they could see who, they could put a face to this voice. Okay.
Sure.
Now, okay. So you touched up on it just a little bit. Yeah. You said that you are leasing with Prime. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
So if you don't mind, I would like to ask you a few questions that might help maybe other mother truckers out there that might be looking into Prime and leasing with Prime, and maybe you could be the one to maybe help them get some clarity to see if this is the option that's good for them.
Sure. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Cool. So for people that are thinking about leasing with Prime, right? How many years experience do you need?
Well, so that's the great thing. So I started to lease with Prime right out of school with them. So when you go through Prime's training school, you do essentially 40,000 miles minimum, right? And then it's decided that yes, you can get your own truck, right? So you can choose to upgrade, and that upgrade period or phase is usually, the question is, do you want to go company or do you want to go lease? And at that point, I decided to go lease. So I went lease February 13th of 2018. So I've been doing it over a year.
I love it. I love it. And for people that don't know, like Trucker NaeNae said, she has a corporate background. So she is one of those people that have the mentality of, I can run a business and I'm going to give it a try, right?
So the great thing about the leasing program with Prime is it really is a walkaway lease. So everybody's like, yeah, but if you have the business knowledge, why not go out and buy your truck? I'm like, because I'm scared to death. Like, I don't know the trucking industry, quite yet. And this was my way to get in, sort of manage my own business, but still have that protection if it doesn't work out, I don't have to stick with this. Like, I'm not stuck with, a $200,000 truck that now I have to sell to somebody else. I just turn it back into the company. So it was sort of that protection that I needed to get to know the trucking industry.
No, I love that. So that was actually going to be a follow-up to my next question is, does Prime have a walkaway lease? And can you maybe tell people exactly what a walkaway lease and why that might be different than another company? Do you know what other companies usually do with that?
So I know there's a number of companies that you can do the lease option with them. I don't know specifically, the pros and cons with those programs compared to Prime's, but I can tell you, with Prime, excuse me, you literally can turn the truck in at any time.
And nothing happens. Nothing happens. You sure? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, no. So it is a walkaway lease, and I will say this: if you turn the truck in damaged because you just had an accident, well, you're not off the hook. Okay. Right? Like you are responsible. You got the truck in good condition. You should return it in good condition, and I think that's fair. Also, they ask that you got the truck or you picked up the truck from a terminal. It's only fair that you should return it to the terminal. A lot of times people think it's a walkaway. They abandon the truck. Well, you're not off the hook.
Right.
So you got to remember, like, you do have some responsibility in returning the truck in the right way. So you can't just treat the truck however you want and leave it in, poor condition and leave it anywhere you want and go, oh, my hand, it's a walkaway. There are things that you have to do to end that contract respectfully and, without incurring further charges, because if it's not done right, you will suffer some financial consequences, and I think you should.
Right. No, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. So, and I kind of knew the answer to that because I've heard that before. But I'm glad that we brought this up. So, all you mother truckers out there, if you're signing something, especially a walkaway lease, where you think that if you jump on, you could just throw the truck on the side of the road, that's not going to happen. The way you receive the truck, you got to bring it back in that condition and bring it back to maybe not that same terminal, but in good standings, right?
Right. Exactly.
No, I know. That was a big one, so I appreciate you for that. So, the next question I have is, now when you're thinking about leasing, where do you get your truck? Do you have to put down like a down payment with them? How does that work?
So Prime has two options for leasing. One is the straight leasing, like I like to say, which is what I'm doing is after my lease contract is up, I give the truck back. Okay. But then they have what's called like a lease bonus payout, and we can talk about that if you want secondarily. But the other option is an ACE2 lease, which is you put down a down payment, and when your contract is up, you own that truck. So that down payment is based on your years of tenure. So if you get out of Prime's training school and you want to purchase your truck right away, like you want to own it, you have to put down $14,000, and then you will get your truck. And that at the end of your contract, which is typically 3 years, depending on what your payments are, then you get the title to that truck. My option, I came in with no money down, no credit check, the walkaway, which we talked about, right? But you have some responsibility yet. And I make my truck payment, and I give that back in 3 years, and I can do this again and again, over and over and over, all I want. And the other thing is, too, you can lower your truck payment. You don't have to get into a brand new truck. So last February 2018, I leased a 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but they do have leases that you can get for used trucks. So your payment's a little lower. Your contract timeline is a little shorter. So you get the, ability to try out being a lease operator in a shorter time frame if that's something that looks, favorable to you.
No, I love that. So all you mother truckers, you hear this. There's two options. One, if you got some money in the bank, you could put down that big down payment. But at that point, if you have money in your bank like that, it might be a good opportunity to just go buy your own truck. I mean, it's up to you. That's your decision. But I like the option that you went, because if someone wants to basically learn how to grow their own business and learn the business hands-on, you could jump in it with basically no money down. Is that correct?
That's exactly what I did. No money down, no credit checks. I went and picked out my truck, and they gave me the keys, and I left.
Okay.
Scary, but that's what happened.
No, I hear you.
That's what happened.
I hear you. And I don't want to get too much into your personal, but here's a question for you.
Yes.
If someone jumps into leasing with Prime, is there a certain truck payment, monthly payment they should kind of stay under to be successful with their expenses? Do you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah, so I've done a couple videos on my settlements, and I'm due to make another one, but I have not yet. So my what I always say is, your fixed costs are your fixed costs. There's nothing you can do about it. But your variable costs, like your fuel, where you fuel, how much you fuel, how you drive your truck, is absolutely in your hands. So, the big joke is Prime's so slow, their trucks are so slow, that sort of thing.
Right.
But last week, my MPGs were 10.3.
No, okay. Wow. Okay.
So when I'm saving money on fuel, because I'm a lease operator and I pay for my own fuel, all that goes in my pocket.
Right.
So you can drive 75, that's you. Right? But I'm going to drive 57, 59, and I'm going to put an extra, 500 to 1,000 in my pocket because I manage my fuel. No,
I love that. Okay, so
yeah.
No,
so, but to your original question is, you don't as the lease that I'm doing, you don't have a lot of control about your truck lease payment, right? That's sort of I don't want to say dictated, but it's already figured in. Like, if you want this truck, this is going to be your payment. There's no negotiation. So, my fixed costs weekly are about $1,300.
Okay. So
yeah, and those come due with whether or not I am working on the road or I choose to go home and vacation. That will come due every week.
Wow. Okay. So
yeah.
So if you're thinking about leasing, it sounds like you need to have that work ethic. You need to be that type of person that wants to go to work every day. If you're that person that wants to take a lot of vacations and days off, it sounds like leasing might not be a good thing for you.
To some degree, I would agree with that. I think that the people that want a good trucking lifestyle but want home time like every single month, I think you're going to work so you can just go home for that week.
Really?
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think it's because when you go home that week, you not only miss out the income you would have made, but you also have your truck payment and your fixed costs that are due. So we call it, when you come out from home time, you're in the hole. That's what we call it.
Oh, okay.
And now you got to work to get out of the hole, and it can take you 2 weeks because you got to cover the next week's payments when you come back off of home time. There's ways you can manage that. You can have money in reserves and ask for that to be covered. But, I typically stay out 3 months at a time.
Wow.
And in between then, my husband flies out to where I'm at, and we do a short vacation, or he hops on the truck with me and he runs for a week with me. So we make it work.
I love it. But
yeah.
You sound like a grinder and a hustler, and I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I've been called that a few other words too.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, I'm a workaholic, so I'll be the first one to say this is right up my alley. I love it.
So, okay, so now if a person is a company driver for Prime, and I've heard some people say they're taking home around like $1,100, $1,200 checks a week, something around there, right? And so if
Mhm.
they're considering going with leasing after all expenses, would they almost be doubling their weekly income for those people that are thinking about making that jump to lease?
That's the calculation that I like to make. So company drivers are paid per mile,
Okay.
and when you become a lease operator, you are based on the revenue of the load. So as a lease operator, you're paid 72% of the load.
Percentage base.
So
Okay.
yeah, so I don't care that I'm only going to run 300 miles and it pays $1,200. I could care less about the miles,
Right.
right?
Right.
It's the money that I'm looking at. Now, the flip side of that is if you're having me drive 1,700 miles and I'm going to make $1,800, then I'm like, oh, what? Then I may
Right.
look at it a little
Right.
differently. But yeah, so I say that if solo company to solo lease, you're probably making twice
Okay.
that amount.
Twice that
Yeah.
amount. Okay, all you mother truckers, you're hearing that. So I guess before we get to the final last question, because I want to talk about your channel and what you can do for people as well, because I'd like people to subscribe. Um, what kind of characteristics should a person have to be successful as a prime lease operator that you say?
So yes, you know what? I would say this for if you're getting into trucking at all and you are really doing this to change your life and to have a better financial future. You like you said it. You need to be a go-getter. You need to be a hustler. If you think that you're going to get in the truck and you're going to live by your own rules and not answer to your fleet manager or your company or respond to load requests, you've got another thing coming. I mean, you can truly live off the grid, but you have a responsibility. If you're a company driver, you're running that truck's business on behalf of that company. So you have a responsibility. So you have to be a go-getter. You have to be able to manage your time. I would also say if you want to be financially successful, you have to learn when to say no for yourself. Like
I like that.
you could go to every truck stop and you could eat buffet every day and you could get a T-shirt from every city. You could get a keychain, a sticker, you name it, right?
That's what I want to
Tourists,
do.
right? But you quickly find out that holy crap, like where did my money go,
Right.
And then
Right.
you get into this whole taking advances out on future loads. Don't get into that. That's like the whole, what did they call those back in the day? The payday loan checks or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
get into
I know what
taking
you're talking about.
advances out,
Yeah.
for
Don't take
money that you're
advances.
going
Yeah.
to earn.
Mm-hmm.
Be really stingy with your money. And I always say, have an emergency fund. I'm dealing with some family issues right now, and I know that I'm going to have to be flying home, and I want to be able to quickly make a call to the airlines, book my ticket, and get out of there.
Right.
So you got to have some reserve funds too. It's always good to have cash on the road because you never know. But have your eye on the prize and just be really selfish with your money and your time.
No, I love that. No, thank you so much for giving us all that info. Now, the last question I have is, so you make trucking YouTube videos. You're a grinder,
do.
you're a hustler. You're helping people out. You're helping sponsor people, So at the end of this, I want people to subscribe to you. But what do you talk about per se that's going to interest them? What kind of people would be interested in your content? Tell us about your channel a little bit.
Sure. So I think that the biggest draw I get are people that have been in their professional careers for, 20, 30 years, and they've always wanted to drive a truck. I hear this all the time. It was like their dream. It was similar to mine. I've always wanted to do this, but it was taboo, right? It wasn't appropriate at the time when I graduated from high school for a female to go into trucking. So I get a lot of emails from, mortgage bankers that have been in the business for 30 years and IT specialists and marketing and sales specialists. They're like, oh my gosh, how do I get into trucking? You've done it. I mean, I'm 49 right now, and I got into trucking when I was 47.
I hear you.
So
I hear you.
I don't think that there's an age limit, right? Like if you're 50, come out here. If this is what you wanted to do, make the small investment in yourself. See if this dream is really what you want. So I help inspire and motivate people to make that leap into trucking because I've done it.
I love it.
I've done it. I've moved from corporate to trucking.
I love it. I love it. So all you people that are scared, come on now. Trucker NaeNae is showing you the blueprint that it is possible, that you can do it, that it doesn't matter how old you are, what age, what race. It doesn't matter anything. If you can do it, then come out here and get it, right?
Absolutely. And you know what? I always, will sort of put myself out there, like the flaws that I have. And I came from a world where I never even checked my own oil. I don't even think I could tell you where my oil stick was in my car. I just took it into people.
Right.
And now I'm out here, doing pre-trips, and I'm, fixing things on the road, and I never ever thought that I would be doing things like this. So I grow every single day, and it's exactly what I needed. Yeah, it's exactly what I needed.
I love it. No, thank you so much for being on the Asian Mai Show. All the mother truckers out there, please subscribe to her channel if you want information definitely about leasing with Prime, or information about Prime in general, or if you want anyone to slap you in the face and say, if you need to go trucking and that's what you want to do, I'm here to help you. So
that's right. Thank you so much, Alex. I really appreciated the opportunity to be on your show. You have a great platform, and you're helping people, whether it's other YouTubers that are trucking or people that are interested in it. So I applaud you too, because you put out some outstanding content. Oh, come on now.
Stop it already.
Remember my P.O. box? You can send the check to that.
I know.
Right?
Let me we're still recording here, Trucker NaeNae. You need to stop. We'll get that in there. But no, thank you so much for being on the show. It definitely was a pleasure. And go out, subscribe to Trucker NaeNae. And I think that's it. We're good to go, huh?
All right. See you guys on the road. Be safe.
See ya. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.